So we're going to break this interview down chronologically. So we're going to pretend that you've been doing your job search and doing it well. And once again, if you don't understand good, proper job search techniques, you need to pay attention to the job search techniques or job search strategy seminar in this career conversation series also, because that's going to give you the skills to go out and find the kind of job that you want and not wait for it to come to you. But for the purposes of interviewing skills, we're going to assume that you've done that part and you've been doing it well. And finally, it's starting to pay off for you. Finally, your phone rings. And you pick it up, and you say, got an interview coming up. Let's say a week from now. You got the date, you got the time, and you know who you're going to be interviewing with. Hang up the phone. What's the first thing that you do? Well, I'll tell you, the first thing you need to do is pat yourself on the back just a little bit, just for a second or two. Because it ain't easy getting an interview. It's not, you have overcome some major hurdles just to get to that point. Most companies, most employers will tell us that they interview about 10% of all the resumes that they see. So if they see about 30 resumes for a particular professional position, which is about the industry average, if they see about 30 resumes, they're going to interview about 3 people. They might go to for 4 or even 5, but typically it's about 3 people. So what that means is if you get that call to come in and interview, you've already overcome about 90% of your competition, like that, out of the box. And it does, should give you some sense of satisfaction. So take that moment and relish it. Pat yourself on the back and say, yeah, I did a good job. I've gotten to the interview. But just because you have the interview doesn't mean you have the job. There's a big difference between the two. And so many of us assume that because we get an interview, the job offer is just waiting for us, and that's an inaccurate assumption to make. The interview is another hurdle, another obstacle. Yes, you've eliminated 90% of your competition, but you still got that other 10% of the competition to go. And the bad news, if you want to call it bad news, is that this other 10% probably well qualified too. They probably have the skills, just the same as you do, that appear on the resume. Now you have to overcome this idea of fit. How well do you fit with that organizational structure? How well do you fit with that organization in general? So we got this interview. Pat yourself on the back, but let's get going and get started on preparation for the interview.